Yeah, I mean, it didn't really take that. I mean, it's a process of, I think maybe like, oh man, I'm going to say about maybe 3 years, just like pre-production, just kind of getting everything together, and finally just getting together with the guys and saying, okay, let's record.
All right. And these songs you had all the time, right? Or during that time you wrote all these songs? Right.
I mean, I've got like so many other tunes and stuff in the can, and I believe my process now is, since I'm focused more on my own career, I can actually finally start releasing records faster. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, because before I spent most of my time, working, which is not a bad thing, but, I was, doing the Gladys Knight thing, and then Jeffrey Osborne, and then, I mean, Kenny Garrett, I mean, that's a very beautiful thing, too, and I learned so much. Kenny has taught me so much about comping. He's played, worked with Chick and McCoy and Herbie, and he's taught me so much, and, finally I think I'm at a point, well, I know I'm at a point where I can just work and continue, producing my thing, but it's kind of difficult because if you have all these recordings you've done in the past, then it's like getting those recordings and then getting together with some group of guys and then re-recording everything, and, because I document everything.
Gotcha.
So it's very, very difficult, but it's very positive, though.
That's great. Vernell Records. That's 2010. Yeah. Tell us about Vernell. Who's Vernell?
Verlita Records?
Verlita, yeah.
Yeah, that's half my dad's name, Vernell Brown Sr.
Okay.
And my mom's name, Carlita. So it's Verlita Records.
All right. So, you want to talk about any of these songs?
Oh, it's up to you. I mean, I don't know.
Like Queen Brown here. Tell us how you come about that title.
Queen Brown, I wrote that song for my mother, and basically it's a song for my mother and for all women, that, they're queens. I mean, I feel like, there's a lot of women out there that are a little bit distraught, and I don't know if they're used in a certain way, or I don't know what's going on, but just to hold up the banner and say thank you, for being my mother, because you're a queen. I mean, if it wasn't for women, then it's like procreation,
Tell me about it.
Created us, and so it's just kind of lifting up the banner, and I named it, after my mother.
Butterfly.
Butterfly was a tune I did. A singer, her name is Wendy, but also the drummer and the bass player, they're from the original Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters. Mike Clark and Paul Jackson played on it.
Right.
Paul, we did a show out, in Las Vegas, a certain area out here, and Paul Jackson flew in from Japan. That's where he lives, and Mike Clark flew in from upstate New York. That's where he lives, and we got together and did the live show, and prior to that, we recorded Butterfly.
Right. Unequivocally so.
Unequivocally so. I was in L.A. with a few musicians, and I've got a black book, a thick book with like over 52 songs, and I named that tune Unequivocally So, because I would go through the dictionary and look for different titles in different orders. I'd find the title in the dictionary, and then I'd try to see how can I write a song with that title, and that's just what came out.
And Love, that must have been a hard one.
Love?
Yeah.
Love, that one was written for just everyone that loves their significant other. And that was basically written for my significant other. And anybody else's significant other.
I hear you. The title tune, Do You Really Love Me?
Do You Really Love Me? That came from, and that was inspired by Jesus Christ when he was talking to Simon and Peter, and he was asking him, you know, do you love me? Do you love me? Then he said, do you really love me? Then feed my sheep, feed my, you know, it was just kind of a vibe that I picked up from that, and I really appreciate, I have the utmost respect for Christ in terms that he was able to even probe somebody and ask him a question like that just to get a response. And obviously the response was, yeah, well, yeah, I do really love you.
Ronnie,
that was a song that I wrote. It was an old crush that I had on a girl in, I don't know, so early elementary school or something like that. Elementary school, high school. It was kind of a song, you know, I just wrote it, and I like to call it, I call it, you know, Ranye.
Ranye, okay. Yeah. It's cool to me as a groove, you know, I really like.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's cool to me. Now, that one is happening. I mean, that's inspired by my entire family, you know, and everyone else, you know, and it's just like, you know, it's cool to me.
Yeah.
It's like keeping a positive attitude, kind of creating value out of everything. No matter what happens, you know, it's like, okay, that happened, it looks like it's bad. Well, how can I turn this out and make it cool? You say it's cool to me.
Right on. Sabor de la música. Sabor
de la música means love or for love of the music in Spanish. And I ended up taking these Yoruba drum lessons from Ayo Edeyemi from Santa Monica at the Yoruba House, and I learned a lot about the Yoruba language and the rhythm of the drum, which is very connected with salsa and Spanish and stuff like that. So after I finally started taking these lessons, you know, these African, you know, these drum lessons, I felt more comfortable playing Spanish rhythms.
All right. So tell us what we can do.
And then the last one is Fragile, right?
Fragile. Oh yeah, right.